like have him focus on one position. Do you feel comfortable now that tight end is the right spot for him and that's where he's going to stay?
I think that would a lot be with him too now. Like I believe that to say someone's doing something that's best for the team, it doesn't work. It's got to be best for the guy. So if Cade thinks it's best for him to be there, I definitely think he has the skills to be very, very good. Like he's pushing 258, 60 pounds. He's got a blocking presence. He had a phenomenal winter. I grew a lot of respect for him. I probably have more respect for him after he went to defense, the way he played defense, the way he worked out in the winter, because he became truly one of the premier top leaders of this team, the way he approached our workout and all that. So my thought if he came back was I wasn't going to tie his hands. I was going to try to get him to play with the energy and the passion that he likes playing defense. We got to play under control. We can't be reckless, and we have to have some fundamentals per se. But I'd like for him to play to his strengths. So today, you know, was just, he kind of came back just to give it a go here a little bit. We'll see how it's going. He's doing good at backer too. There's a bunch of linebackers. So I think you know, he's trying to maybe see, you know, to me, if he just trusts his heart, that's where his heart takes him, I think he'll be good at it. If his heart leads him to be on defense, I would say he needs to stay there. So I didn't ask him to come back, or Coach Day didn't ask him to come back. He's the guy that said, hey, as we're going through this, can I give it a shot? Let's see. So, you know, that's where we're at there. He got a good day. It looks decent. He'll be okay, but we'll see. Time will tell. I'm just not trying to force it. You know, we only put him over there in the bowl practice because we were down on numbers. But he had a ball. He had fun. He wanted to go with it. We allowed him to. You know, Coach Day's going to. We're going to have some guidelines, and we're going to give our guys some directions. But I think Coach Day believes that, you know, you give the players a chance to make sure it's good within their heart, within their soul to try to do. So it was Cade's choice to be with us today. He looked okay. I personally like to have him back, but it's not about me. It's not, you know, me doing my job with the guys. So if he's with me, I'm all in, and we'll just see in the weeks to go and months to go where it plays out.
I know Joe Royer.
I do agree that he doesn't need to go back and forth all the time.
I know, you know, Joe Royer, G. Scott are a couple guys you're looking for to step up at that spot. Just so far this spring, what have you seen?
They've been really good. Matter of fact, I told them after the first week and then after last week, I don't need them to do better, but I need them to keep doing what they're doing. Just give me another day, because if you keep stacking up good days, you know, we're basically playing tackle, we're basically playing receiver, so we're doing a lot of jobs. If you just keep having a good day, you'll get more confident, you'll get more confidence, and your role's going to grow. So they've started good. They're still, you know, around the, you know, G's probably between 233 and 235 most days. Joe's around 239 and 242. Still like to find 5-8 pounds apiece as we keep moving, keep developing, but they're developing nicely. They're making some good plays in the pass game. They're better in the blocking game. Cade gives us a little bigger presence on the edge. So sometimes then it's just the matchups that Coach Day and myself or Coach Fry put them in as we develop run game and protections, because it's one thing to do a job, it's a little bit about the matchup. So it's kind of how we get those guys matched up. But I like Joe, and I like G and the way they've started. And my prayers that they just continue to just keep doing it. Good things are going to happen for them, and good things are going to happen for us.
Over here, far right, Adam King, WBNS 10 TV.
I know every year is different, but when you look at what's coming back on offense, the wide receiver room that's obviously stacked. I know you lose Jeremy Ruckert, but in your time here, is this the most stacked offense you've had going into the season?
I don't know, we've had some good ones. I mean, to me, it's only good when you look back at the end. And I've always said from an offensive perspective, you can only do what the quarterback can handle, and you can only do what the line can block. So you know the quarterback has a chance. It looks like he's proven he can handle up. And now, as you're evolving with new line, okay, where are their strengths and weaknesses? So I think as the line and as the tight ends with Jeremy going, as that tight end room that we were talking about a minute ago with Dan, if that group complements the line, that will determine really what other skill guys can do. Because if you can't block it, you can't run it, you can't throw it. So some great skill pieces. I think what has a chance to be a tremendous line and a solid tight end group. But those are groups only good with consistency. You know, a guy comes out and kicks a 50-yard field goal, and you carry him off the field. You guys have posters of him. He made one play. You know, those linemen. It's every day. It's every day. It's Tuesday. It's Wednesday, and every day it's going out there good on good, and you keep building that. And if we have a chance to be, like you say, stacked, well, that line will keep stacking those good days, and those tight ends stack those good days, and that'll give us the balance and the consistency to be an elite team. So it's stacked with skill, but we got to make sure we stack it with consistent upfront play to be a great team.
When you look at CJ, obviously an amazing year now he goes into a full spring as the starting quarterback. How much can he grow, and how much has he grown so far in spring?
The thing I think with CJ is he still hasn't played a lot. He's played so well, and he's naturally, to me, extremely smart and visually sees things so well. Things I think that are hard to coach. But sometimes when you're that good at that early, it's the ability of the coaches to make sure they don't get bored. You know, that they keep, it's every day, Tiger would be out there with the sticks and get the alignment right, the first thing you learn in the first lesson. So as advanced as he gets, that he stays with his fundamentals, and he keeps the main thing, and just, keeps his feet on it, keeps trusting his coaches, keeps trusting, what Coach Day, Coach Dennis, and Coach Fitch helps him out as well. What those guys are, that he believes in that, and embraces that. And, sometimes you get a lot of notoriety, it's hard to quote, just keep your feet on the ground and stay grounded. He is a tremendous kid though, and he'll keep working at it. If he keeps working, the great players, to me, I go back, and the few times I had a chance to see a guy like Drew Brees have a walk through, it blew me away, a veteran player, how well they did things. So when these young, talented players have such great success, get hyped up, the great ones have a way of staying centered, staying grounded, keeping it simple, listening to their coaches, being great team leaders. He's off to a great start. I think he's got a much higher ceiling than you've seen. I think he's unbelievably good. There's a high ceiling for him to be a special player.
Front row right, Austin Ward, Letterman Row.
Kevin, other than that brief cameo for Cade, I mean, you've been working with him for a while. If he stays with that tight end unit, what do you see as the ceiling for him? Can he become you've got guys that have flexed out, you have Mitch playing in the backfield. Can Cade do the all-around thing, or what do you see him doing best if he stays at tight end?
Well, I mean, the blocking piece, he's a little bit bigger than some of those guys in the blocking piece, but to be good, you need to do it all. And to be good, what we'd like to do in time, we did a little bit better last year, I thought, with Mitch, was when Mitch was in, we played the strengths that fit him. And in time, if we get some consistency with Cade, and then with G, and then with Joe, we can play to their consistency. They are gonna have to block. What are those blocking matchups? What's the structure of the defense? And then to be good as the receivers are, we still need to find ways to get them on the field and work them in the progression, but they have to earn the right, as Coach Day would say, to command the ball. You gotta be out there every day and show CJ you're gonna separate and get open. If not, it's going to somewhere else, or if not, we put someone else in that deal. So I see Mitch in time being that 21 wing, a little bit of tight end, but a little bit of a fullback moving around guy. I see Cade being a tight end that we'll see where the passing grows, which I think could grow high. And I really like the way Joe and G were coming, that are the little bit more athletic I can catch, but are coming in the blocking. G probably doing as well as any of those guys with block fundamentals. It's just getting stronger and consistency with that. So in a perfect world, you put them on the field, and if they go big, we spread them out. And you got guys that can get open. If they go little, we got some bigger bodies, and you control the line of scrimmage and help the line. It's kind of like a basketball. To me, the tight end group's like a basketball unit. And it'd be nice if they were all 6'5", 6'6", and 260 or 70 and ran 4.4. But they're not. Typically, some guys block better, some guys run routes better. But when those guys get going and you put them on the field and you can move those parts around and you can take advantage of matchups. And that's what we're looking for, whether it be a blocking matchup or a route matchup. And that's where, to me, that group can grow and enhance our 11. Right now we're at 11. It's hard not to get a Mecca out there, and it's hard not to get Jackson and what we're getting with Marvin and Julian and the young guys. So there's going to be a lot of 11. But when 12 goes on the field, it needs to be a 12 that can go big enough to match you and still spread you out and make plays based on how you want to match up with us. So it's like playing basketball. They pack it in, you got to hit some threes. When they spread it out, you got to attack the post. It's the same kind of deal to me at tight end.
Who do you think Cade compares to that you've worked with at that position before?
Interesting. I think he's going to be a little bit more skilled, but the one young man I thought years ago at Oklahoma, Brody Ellers, one of my favorite players, a tremendous blocker, could lock you down. And he was a 4th-round pick for the Colts and played a handful of years. He's got a little bit of that defensive. Because Brody was in. It was a high school running back from a small rural town.
Sounds familiar.
So grew up on a farm. Drove a truck. Wore white T-shirts a lot. He's very. The Cade's not as good a blocker as that kid is yet, but I'd like to see him be that. I think he could be a better route runner, more complete than Williams. That's a high standard for me. But I'm chasing him to be there.
Third row right, Doug Lamreese, Cleveland.com.
Kevin, you mentioned CJ's vision and being able to see it. obviously you guys coach him up, he gets in the film room, but how much is a trait like that, some of it is innate, or how much can that just be learned to be able to see the field?
You know, I think the more you do it, you can some degree learn it, but I think that guy played center and guard. I've coached quarterbacks before. I stand right behind him and I have no idea who's open. I don't see that. I see that three technique getting ready to slant. I see this twist getting ready to happen. I see that linebacker bumping. I see the safety rotating down. But when they start going like this and like this, the ability to see spaces, some guys are very gifted at that. They naturally see it and they keep their eyes downfield. And they have the ability to anticipate and see spaces. And I guess through time, it's a little bit learned, and with trial and error and reps, you get better and better and better at it. And I think he had some good training. But I mean, when I was a young coach, I had a friend of mine now coaching the NFL, having a great career, and he was complaining. I said, "Come back in, you tell me who's open." I don't have a clue. I'm standing right here knowing the play. I don't know which one's open. I don't see that. But those quarterbacks, some guys can see it, some guys can't. You can work to improve it. As a coach, you try very, very hard to put them in as many situations as you can. But I think sometimes there is a gift that guys have it. And it's hard. I maybe I'd ask that question to Coach Day, who played the position, because me not having played it, I really don't see that. But I know Coach Day standing on the sideline can see the game as a quarterback. I see it through the lines of alignment. Everybody sees the game a little bit differently. Offensive views, defensive views, like Coach Noel has. Great view and completely different than mine. We all have different views. CJ's got that view of a quarterback, and he has a unique gift of seeing it. And whether he's learned it or maybe I think a lot of it's innately God-given.
When I know you guys make a game plan that brings out the strengths of your quarterback and your entire offense. If you have a quarterback that you know has that skill, that can see it, do you have to call the game a little bit differently if you have to maybe help a quarterback see it, a guy who doesn't have that as much versus a guy that you think, hey, CJ's going to be able to identify what's going on out there?
Yeah, I think you just get hesitant when you're not sure what he's seeing.
Okay.
And one of the best ways, and I would be certain that most of our coaches would tell you, one of the best ways you know if a guy sees you, just ask him what he sees. Because when I'm watching tape right now, I'm watching with the tight ends. I'm running it back 20 times. I've watched it like the day before, and I'm sitting there for 3 minutes talking about a play. But you got about 2.1 seconds to see what you see. And I don't know what you saw. And you saw it from here. We're showing you film from up here. That's nice. Years ago, we used to have the quarterback stand behind and do plays, and Sam Bradford would get mad at me and say, I'm standing deeper. It doesn't even look like that, Coach. I really don't want to do this. He was kind of mad about it. Like, well, I want you guys to get mental reps. He goes, yeah, but Coach, I'm 10 yards behind where I'm really standing. That's not even the view I see. I see it from up in there. And so I just think if you try to enhance the guy, but when you put him in the drills and you ask them what you're seeing and you hope they give you feedback. I saw the linebacker do this. And as a coach, you just remember that. When you go to that tape, that linebacker better have done that. Because when that linebacker doesn't do that, he doesn't know what he's seeing. He's making up. And when that happens, you get hesitant to call things. You try to call simpler things because you're not sure what he's seeing. The more you know that you can trust what the quarterback sees, the more aggressive and the more assertive you are as a play call.
Fred Romino, Bill Rabinowitz, Columbus Dispatch.
Hey, Kevin. I don't know how much you've kind of matched with Jim Knowles yet, because you're probably working more on fundamentals with your own units. But what are your impressions of just what he has brought to the defense and the changes he's made?
Well, I think, we're still, adding, or just say change, like what, they're still putting in packages or things they're in, but to me, I think he's done it long enough that he's got things that he believes in. And now he has things that he believes in. I think they're packaged in a way that he knows how to implement the package and how to give his players a chance to then have confidence and see what's going to happen. They're doing a great job of multiple front or movement or alignments or coverages. So basically every play as an offensive line, as an offensive skill player, as a quarterback, they're making you mentally work. But the way it's put in, it's structurally sound. It's reasonably gap sound, and they're still making, I'm sure you'd say, a boatload of mistakes. Guys aren't lined up right, not hitting everything perfectly, but the structure appears to me to have a chance to be very sound, but at the same time making the offense work very, very hard. And the more the quarterback has to work, and the more the offensive line has to work to do their job, the harder the game. And they're making our cats work, and then he's doing it with some really good players up front. A lot of those guys are back. We're our two deep. Sometimes even our threes on defense are running out like ones and 1.5. So I mean, there's some good-looking kids over there running around. but I think he's, done it long enough, he knows what he believes in, he knows how to present it, I think he's presenting in a way that's building confidence. I think he's putting his guys in very, very good positions on the field, and they're feeding off of that, they're starting out, we got a long way to go, it's 6 days of practice, and summer, preseason, load of games to play, we hope, but, as we go, to me, been a long time, I like the way it looks. He's presenting a lot of challenges for us, which I think is awesome, because every week we get worked hard with people trying to stop things that we do. No one plays static football, but they're playing, to me, he has a great understanding of what he believes in, and I think he has a great, and it appears, I've not said in his meetings, but I think he has a great way of capturing his room and his players and the way he implements, and then with that, I think he's showing them feedback, the things I like, the things I don't like. This is great, do it again, so I think he's building confidence. Hey, these are errors, let's minimize this, again, keep talking with them, but, I mean, it's been a lot of good work going against them. I mean, they're making us work, which is fun. I'm gonna challenge the coaches, as a coach, it's what you like. They're making us work to find, hey, what are we blocking here? Who are we blocking? How are we identifying? What's the coverage? Where's the ball going? What are we blocking? It's been very challenging. It's been very, very good. It's been a very competitive, we've had to work on offense to have our share of success when we've had it. It has not been easy. We have had to work.
And just what's he like in the room, like in coach meetings?
We split apart. It doesn't say much in this, instead of this ass, but he's got a great dry sense of humor, it appears. Very intelligent, very smart guy, but he's got a great defensive view, and he's done it long enough. I think he knows the things he believes in. I think he understands how the issues, how to present issues to the quarterback and offensive line. At the same time, how to be sound and aggressive, and they're getting after it. He's done a long time. He's a great coach.
He share any cigars with you?
No, I haven't got there yet.
Second row left.
It's been 30 degrees. They did open my golf course Friday, and it's been 30 degrees every day since then. It's like killing me.
It's gonna be nice tomorrow.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Second row left, Bill Landis, The Athletic.
Kevin, to run the ball the way you all run the ball, do you have to have a tight end on the field at all times, or can you accomplish some of that if you were to play 4 receivers in the back or 3 receivers with 2 backs?
I think it's easier if you do. I think if you don't have a tight end, it's really good. You get forced in, the quarterback has to be a part of reading, or the arm, because the box can always get loaded. When the tight end's there, the box is gonna get loaded, but it's loaded one gap wider. So there's just some more runs, so you can do some spread runs, but when the tight end's not involved, you get into a lot of quarterback heavy run game, where now he's gotta be reading an extra defender, whether it be in the zone read or edge game, or the quarterback bash and power read games, or then you get into the RPO game. So to hand it off sometimes, when you have 1 or 2 tight ends, you widen the edges, and you get a chance to get an A or a B gap run that doesn't have to be read all the time. And even practice, sometimes Coach Day would kind of say, hey man, make sure when you script these plays, like I don't want a relief throw, I want to run it. And sometimes when you want to run it, you need to have that tight end presence. Or a 6 offensive lineman. Because, and even, you could put an offensive tackle in there and say, well, he's not going to run a route. Well, they still have to now cover the D gap, because you have the A gap, center guard's A, B, C, and when you put a tight end out, now you have a D, you widen things 3, 4, 5 feet. Whether you run to him or away from him, if that makes sense. So, you can, even if it needed to be an offensive lineman there, you can say, well, he's never gonna run a route, but then they still have to cover down on that person. And that being said, to me, you can run the ball better. That's why in the NFL, you don't see a lot of the spread run stuff, because the quarterback's either got to run it or throw it all the time.
So you guys, it seems like you'll have a pretty nice group of receivers this year, and a bunch of running backs. I know you've rotated 6 receivers in the past. You could have played 4 wide, 5 wide if you wanted to, but is it a philosophy of you and Ryan that we want a tight end out there because of all the things you just said?
I just think to run the ball, unless, back when we had JT, you'd probably get a lot more 10, because he was a running type quarterback. Or back when, years ago when, Mike Kustok at Northwestern or Coach Ed Tebow or those guys, you had running guys that you do the zone read or the quarterback run or the quarterback draw and all that, because you can, you can lead the tailback on the linebacker and the quarterback draw. It's not this, and CJ is a very adequate runner. He's also a great passer. Like, we don't want to overdo that. I mean, he has been very, very capable of pulling the ball and running, and we'll still have him as a running threat, but he's not our lead running threat. He's a great thrower. We can easily throw the ball, but to me, when they know you're throwing, then your rush starts hurting, because here comes, you know, the pocket just collapsing on you. When you got the run game and you can play action and you can move the pocket and, you know, have the quick little play action passes or the shots off of that, there's a lot of good offense. So, you know, we're always gonna be pretty good in the drop back game. We're always gonna have, it looks like, because Brian's gonna continue to develop and recruit great receivers. But I think to be the offense we need to be, that line and tight ends, make it off the chart good or make us talented, but maybe have some hiccups along the way.
Got time for just a few more. Front row middle, Dave Biddle, 24/7 Sports.
Hi, Kevin. Harris Johnson at left tackle, obviously a very talented guy. How close is he to becoming the player you want him to be? And maybe what does he need to improve on the most?
I think just out there on that one-on-one, you know, island of pass blocking so much. He played a lot last year, but inside guard, you know, you got a center help on half the protections if the center's working to you. Now, you're out there against probably the premier rusher of every team. I think I saw the other day, if I can believe the NFL draft experts, I think in the first round, there's 5 projected first-round DNs that we played against. You know what I mean? And so, you know, that's, you know, it's good on good. So he's now in a real matchup, a grown matchup that over time, now, thankfully, with the guys we got and the way Coach Johnson teaches it, he's gonna get a lot of phenomenal work from the one-on-one rush and every time we do team pass and team. So as we grow, it's just getting him comfortable that one-on-one I can play against an elite player, and yeah, I'm an elite talent, but I'm an elite player, and I got CJ's blind spot. So as we go, as he continues to grow and get more comfortable, that'll be a huge part of our offense being good, him being a quality left tackle.
And I'm gonna ask about tight end as well. It seems like the numbers are good there now. Are you concerned at all, especially this day and age where guys can transfer without, you know, setting out a year? Are you concerned you might lose a tight end in the transfer portal?
Yeah, I mean, we're always concerned with that, with every position. That's part of it right now. But at the same time, with this team has not been hit a lot because the development that Coach Mick, and even the guys that left, the guys that done the best have been the guys that stayed and gave themselves a chance to develop. And they developed here through Coach Mick and through practice and through the coaching that we have. So, you know, it's gonna be hard to keep everybody happy at every position. It's a challenge, but also too, we're not just here to make guys happy. We gotta develop, we gotta win games. So there's a little bit of give and take. So they gotta embrace the competition. They gotta embrace the grind. They gotta embrace the consistency. They gotta embrace the muck and the dirty, and because when you're playing O-line and tight end and running back and spring ball, and you inside a day for 25 plays, that's grimy, that's dirty. You know, it's not what you see on college football at 9 o'clock when Herb Street fires it up now. Today was college football when you're a college player, and it was period 4 and it was inside, and let's go. And there's 22 people, or there's 18 people up there trying to wear out pads. We're wearing out shoulder pads, and who wants to play, get behind your pads and play football. And the guys are gonna be good, they're gonna embrace that, because those tight ends that are gonna be good have to embrace that wherever they're at to be a good tight end. They have to embrace the grind of what it takes to be that block guy. And then when you're in a place like this with Coach Day and the quarterbacks, we'll get you the ball if you command the ball. You embrace the grind, you command the ball, your career will go your way.
Over here, front row right, Clay Hall, WSYX.
If we had the cockpit voice recorder of the Rose Bowl when CJ and Jackson were having a field day, what would that sound like between you and Brian? Let's go back to him. What was the repartee there?
Early when it wasn't going good, and I had been around some teams where we scored a lot of points, but we had a hard time maybe getting stops. I was like, just calm down. They're not. We can block them, and we can get open. And just calm down. You know, just we got to score again. Yeah. And let's just score again. And then as we were throwing it so well, it was find a couple runs that we could go with that they didn't tee off on the rush. You know, and the way we protected wasn't very well against our rivals. So to come back against that one defensive end was the Pac-12 D lineman of the year. So to come back and hold up in pass pro was key for that game. We're talking about how good Sparrow's going to be. To hold up in pass pro one-on-one. Part of the keys for Jackson was pass pro was pretty good that day. Yeah. It was really pretty good that day. And it was against one of the elite rushers, okay? But to me, it was just like, you know, I didn't realize they were down the corners they were. We actually went into the game thinking, okay, we're down a couple of our receivers. We're going to have to play an old slugfest game and keep them close. Really? And all of a sudden you fall down 14 or 17, like, okay, man, we got lighted up, and all of a sudden we got hot as chicken grease here. We got rolling, you know. You know, and that's a credit to those guys. But credit to pass pro. I mean, Jackson made some plays, and the guy can put the ball on target, and he can see things, he can distribute it. But the pro got going. And yeah, I think in a game like, you know, I think we ended up with like 110 yards rushing. But I think if you count the running plays where we threw the RPO, we had 240 yards of offense. Because sometimes we're running and spitting an RPO out. So in the 31 rushes, we had 240 yards of rushing. It was 7-point-something to play every time we had a running play called, because sometimes they're cheating the box, and he's got to distribute it a little bit, which he did. So, but my deal that game is let's just calm down, let's just keep playing. You know, they ran in the third quarter something that they did the Wisconsin-Oregon game, 45-38. They did like the thing on the, I guess maybe on the Jumbotron.
Okay.
I looked at the scoreboard, I said, we're gonna beat these guys 45-38. I go, come on, let's get a stop, and we're getting 45-38, so that's close. That's good.
I'm gonna get in trouble if I keep this going. I'll, just one or two more there, Coach. Front row right, Tim May, Letterman row.
As much as you talk about CJ and him being able to see the field and see who's open, see who's not, see whatever, the dime he dropped to Jackson Smith and Jig before the go-ahead touchdown is, I don't know, where does that rank in your mind of passes you've seen thrown and what he brings to the table?
The really good ones can see it, the really goods can anticipate, and they're great, they're accurate. And that was pretty elite, that was accurate. That's also the receiver. Yeah, he's got a lot of confidence. I think he knows sometimes if you don't command the ball, I'll look at you a second. If I don't feel good, I'm going with the next guy. Jackson, sometimes I'll keep hanging with you a second, man, because I know if I get it close, you got a way of getting open and making plays. So, but that was a great throw.
Can you see
Yeah, a
CJ?
couple of those,
Yeah.
yeah.
Can you see CJ getting better right now? What in practices? What are you noticing about him?
Be a little bit louder, more command. Last year early, just you kind of, you got a lot going on now. He can still handle the thought process and everything Coach Day and Coach Dennis wanted to do with reads and progressions and checks. He's more confident, which gives the line a lot more confidence with command presence and calling the plays and marking out cadence, calling for the ball, making IDs. Just the more he plays, the more confident he is. The more confident he is, the louder he is, the more assertive that is, and our players feed off of that. Because you can tell the voice, command presence has been pretty good because now he's more, he's not that he's not thinking about the throw, but he's confident in the throw enough. He's not too, sometimes you're thinking so much about that, you can't think about being loud on the snap count. There's a lot of thoughts going on. And when you're thinking a lot, you can't do your job. So the more he's doing it, the more comfortable he's getting by seeing him having better command presence. I see him being louder. After plays, he's more, talking to guys about what he likes and sees. That's off the field. But while he's playing, he's more loud, he's more confident, he's more assertive, and it helps the line and the other players play off of that.
All right, we've got time for two more. We'll go Joey Kaufman, Columbus Dispatch.
Kevin, when DeJuan Jones decided to come back, what do you see is kind of the next step in his development, and where can he improve?
It's like Paris, we're talking about his ability to be great one-on-one, because those guys get matched up with really good players out there. And when you're playing again, to me, we're talking about the three positions, the quarterback and the two tackles. When those guys, those are the hardest jobs. That's one of the biggest mismatches on the field. That guy against him. And so as big as he is, as talented as he is, and same with Paris with the talent, their ability to handle one-on-one matchups, grown men on grown men, one-on-one, and be dominant is a huge challenge. And the great players can do that. And the great quarterbacks have the ability to communicate, see, anticipate. And as a coach, the more we can make their jobs easier, the better you're going to be. When those tackles have easy jobs, and those quarterbacks have easy jobs, and you can get your scheme, like I'm talking about Jim's scheme defensively, where they can show a lot of looks, but it's easy for them. Really good offenses show you things, but it's easy for us. Really good defenses show you things, but it's easy for them. The more we can make DeJuan's job easy and let him, because he has a talent, those are two talented tackles. Now they need to become players. And players are consistent guys every day. And when we play next year against those 5 top 15, 20 draft picks, which in the Big Ten we're going to get matched up against some great ones, they can hold their own every Saturday. And at the end, we can look back and say that was a talented offense because that line showed up and had those matchups every week. And that quarterback sitting in the pocket, he can pick them apart because collectively you got a unit. So DeJuan and Paris both have to be great guys that are great one-on-one against some of the premier matchups. And the best thing is, we get those matchups in practice. So we get exposed to that on a daily basis.
Would you ever consider flip-flopping DeJuan to the other side, or do you like Paris to left and DeJuan to right?
Because he was there, that's kind of where I think just to be for Justin, he can get a handle on that time if it needs to go that way. But right now, we kind of thought that, would be the way to go. My thought even a year ago when they were playing guard was if you're in a right-handed stance, you're the next guy playing right tackle. So, everything from moving this way now goes to go this way. Some guys are a little bit more comfortable, and sometimes it's the matchups. But one of the best guys I ever coached, Trent Williams, played right tackle in college. It's not like everybody's got to play left. And those are two great ones. We'll expect them both to get the job done. If we need a flip or there's a problem, we can move someone. We got the young guys coming. If we need to, probably get Donald and Jackson if we need to attack as well. But we'll keep, that position's not gonna be a problem, but that position needs to keep coming along, because that is a very challenged position in college football.
And final questions, Nathan Baird, Cleveland.com.
So Matt Jones competed for a starting job in 2020. He was kind of your utility guy last year. Just what does he bring to this offense this
He's
year?
doing awesome. He's year 5. I think he got some recognition as an All Big Ten player last year as the utility guy. So he's not been bad. He's a starter, and he actually is playing very good. He and Donovan, like I say, I think with Luke, we're gonna be good inside. We get those tackles comfortable outside. That front five's got a chance to be really, really good. Really, really good. But Matt Jones has had a tremendous winter, matured, in good health, in good spirits, in good condition. He has a chance to have a really good year. He's doing really well.
Is it set between him and Donovan, which one would be left and right?
Right now, we got Donovan at left and Matt at right for now.
Is there like a strategy behind why those guys fit there better?
I think we thought that if we needed Donovan at tackle, would we move DeWan to left, or would Donovan go to left? So we got him in that little left-hand stand, so we're there to get used to it.
Coach, thank you very much.
Great deal.